you've watched any of my recent videos, you'll probably heard me mention that I've been buying a website for a friend of mine. You can see Empire Flippers behind me on the screen there. I'm always looking out for good opportunities. And my friend asked me to look around and find a website that was suitable for him to enter the blogging space for the first ever time with a reasonably large investment. He spent around $80,000 on a website. But at the same time I was having this conversation with my friend and searching and helping him buy this new website, I were also having some heartfelt conversation with some fellow bloggers and colleagues of mine that are actually looking to quit the industry. And in fact, you can see some really disgruntled screenshot messages there from my WhatsApp group where people are really upset with how the industry is at the moment. Now, majority of that upset is down to Google, if I'm being honest. Most of my friends and fellow bloggers rely on Google for around 90% of their traffic. Sometimes even 95 to 98% of their traffic comes from Google. Now, with things like the recent Google core update that's happened, a lot of people have seen a drop in traffic. In fact, one of the highest earners I know has dropped around 37%. Now, that's a lot of traffic and a lot of income to lose. Now, it kind of is a double-edged sword because half of me goes, okay, well, you've dropped from like 50, 60,000 a month down to 20 or 30,000 a month. Oh, my heart bleeds for you. But you got to think, people who have been earning that sort of money in this industry for some time now have built their life and their mortgages and their houses and their cars and their holidays and their food bills are all based around the income that they get. So for them to lose that much money, yeah, you know, they're not penniless, but it's certainly going to really hurt them. And it has made many of them question whether it's an industry that they want to continue in. Now, these conversations have been happening across the internet. I've seen it in so many Facebook groups and Discord groups, and it's usually from people who've been hit by the Google core update. Very rarely do you see anybody with a positive growth whose website is taking off and earning them lots of money talk about getting out of the industry. It only seems to obviously happen if people have been negatively hit, and I totally get it. I had a website that was valued at around $200,000. It got hit one day and overnight it lost the value of around $150,000 and it's now currently worth about $50,000. So, you know, I know when that happens, it does hurt. But often where there are people getting out of an industry, it leaves the door open for people to come into the industry, and people will buy into the business where other people are wanting to get out. Winners and losers. There are always going to be that situation when business events happen, like major core updates. Now, I've been doing a lot of research into buying and selling websites. I started a new segment on my newsletter called Website Wednesdays, where I'm going to show good opportunities for buying websites or age domains, ones that I feel look really good and look really interesting. I'm going to share it with you guys. And I've been doing a lot of research into successful businesses that you see on like Empire Flippers behind me is one of my go-to sources, where you can look at websites for sale for some of them on there are millions and millions of dollars. And I think it's really good to look at those websites and see the numbers, how they got to where they are, what niches they're in, what niches are selling the best, what niches are getting the best ad revenues, how long did it take them to grow their websites, etc. Now, I find places like Empire Flipper a really good source of knowledge and information, particularly their podcasts. So anybody selling a successful website is usually asked if they'd like to provide a podcast interview. And they usually give some really juicy detail about how they started and where they would take the business in the future and even why they want to sell. So I think it's a really good platform, to be honest. If you're not signed up to Empire Flippers, you might as well do it. It's free. Take a snoop around, have a look. If you ever want to buy a website, obviously you can do. And even if you want to sell your current website, you can do. So I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to go check them out. It's a fascinating platform. I look at other platforms as well, like Motion Invest and blogsforsale.com and flipper.com. There's loads of places you can go, but Empire Flipper seems to be one that has a lot more really established sites, and that's where I think you can get the best data. So yeah, anyway, if you want to sign up, you can go check them out. But I'll be looking at the data to see how stable this industry is and see if I can see any trends or any sign of kind of mass exit from the industry. And the knowledge and information that I've gathered so far still makes me think that it is a good business to be in. It certainly is making me more cautious about the traffic, where I'm getting my traffic from. I am looking at diversifying that traffic, so I'm not relying 98% on Google. I'm looking at, can I start a Pinterest account again? Can I do Instagram? Can I even use TikTok? Can I do a YouTube channel? Can I grow a mailing list? What can I do to actually water down the percentage of traffic from Google that I rely on? So ideally, if I could get Google down to 60% of my traffic, then if there is a big core update and my traffic is hit, it's not overnight wiping my business out. So I am still really passionate about this industry. I currently have a website that is growing rapidly. In fact, yesterday was the best day ever. It's 8 months old. It's called Gardenia Organic. It's within the garden niche. And that had its best day ever yesterday, 3,500 page views in one day. Now that's for an 8-month-old website, which I think is pretty good. So while I'm seeing positive numbers and positive signs in my own portfolio, it's not making me want to quit yet. I'm still investing heavily in this business, but all the people that have been hit, I can understand why they are now really focusing on whether they should be getting all their traffic from Google or whether they even want to be in this industry anymore, because it is hard to diversify your traffic away from Google. It is the primary source of organic traffic usually. But these people are seriously thinking about either getting out or, looking at what else they can do online that's not reliant on Google. So I think these conversations will still be happening probably throughout the year. And I could probably guarantee you one thing. Most people who are thinking of selling are holding on to their websites through Q3 and Q4, where we see the biggest amount of ad revenue, where the RPMs are the highest that they are throughout the year. And that Christmas, that Q4, where anybody relying on affiliate commissions usually sees their best month ever. So I reckon in Q1, 2023, we will see huge numbers of people exiting the industry. Now that leaves opportunities for us, whether to buy into their businesses or whether that will leave a gap in the niche that they've come out of. So yeah, it's really interesting. I am very, very cautious about blogging industry and what I'm putting my money into. At the minute, I'm only putting my money into websites that I know are working and I can grow them and expand on the success that I'm seeing. I do think if you're entering the industry, you need to move in at the moment cautiously and you need to consider where your traffic is coming from. Certainly do not put all your eggs in one basket and go for 98% of your traffic source from Google. Look at diversifying it. See if you can maximize the traffic that you have already by monetizing in different ways, and see if you can maybe get that income level that you want just from your existing traffic. That's something to consider as well. So I just thought I would let you know what's going on in the industry. Like I say, this channel is all about telling you what's going on in my full-time job as a blogger. And this is what's going on right now. I am buying some websites for friends. I am also looking to help others get out of the industry if they want to sell their website, if they have had enough. And I'm gathering data from the industry in general, just to keep an eye on things and see how it's going. I'll report back to you whatever I find out. But for now, definitely go check out Empire Flippers. Their link is in the description. Listen to the podcast and listen to some very, very successful people and see how they got to where they are and why they're selling some of their websites for millions of dollars. It's really interesting. But for now, thanks for joining me. I'll keep you updated what goes on in the future. But for now, I'll see you in the next video.